Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing super well. Thank you guys so much to everyone who sent love and wishes on my discectomy recovery. If you did not catch the last video, I had a back operation. I had sadly herniated a disc in my back twice, and so had to have what's called a hemilaminectomy and discectomy in order to remove the bit of the disc that had basically fragmented. So I'm about 3 weeks post-op today. I'm so thrilled to be on the road to recovery. I'm starting physio in 2 days time, so things are starting to slowly look up, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your patience with me not posting on the channel. I do have a video that I recorded prior to the surgery, which is to celebrate the upcoming 6,000 subscriber mark, so I'm very excited to post that. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so. And in this video we're going to be discussing the 5 business mistakes I have made in my career and seem to continue to make, so hopefully it can inspire you, hold you accountable, and hopefully hold me accountable to just stop doing some of these things. I can't wait to get back to regular programming soon, so apologies for the iPhone footage. I can't wait to get my whole big setup done, but unfortunately I can't bend or even really sit at this point in time. So this is really just a stopgap to say I hope you guys are doing super well, and I hope that this video can help someone. So the very first mistake, and probably the biggest one that I still continue to make to this day, is undervaluing myself, my talents, my skills, and consistently overvaluing other people's contributions while essentially undervaluing my own. So when I was freelancing, I noticed that I would be super quick to negotiate on rates and diminish my value to the point that when I was working on a particular project, I remember feeling just kind of like bleak with myself as to why I would have taken something on that's effectively detracting time from me working on my professional projects, my creative desires, to work on other people's projects for a rate that's beneath what I would expect. So one way that I thought of expressing this would be, if you are considering freelancing, at an absolute bare minimum, you want to be taking the hourly rate that you were earning when you were working and add 50%. And if it feels like, gee, like what's the additional cash for? If you can think of everything from your computer to your internet connection to the fact that you're not getting annual leave as a freelancer, you'll start to realize why it's so important to charge that premium. And that guilt factor just needs to be erased from your mind, because there is absolutely no shame in accepting that you're going to need sick leave, annual leave, the occasional duvet day when you're not feeling up to work, and that kind of thing. And I realized that the rate that I was charging just didn't factor in any of that. And then conversely, with overvaluing other people's contributions, I think I'm quite like a generous person in terms of my opinion of others. Effectively, you are consistently betting against yourself and betting against your own offer and value within the market. And at the end of the day, that's why it's called a market-related salary. So if, for example, in my instance, I've been working for 12 years, I could never do work that's valued at a junior price unless it's something that I specifically need or want to do for my own creative passion. Regardless of how big or small your audience is, there is still an opportunity cost that it's going to take you in order to create a video on behalf of someone, a sponsorship on behalf of someone. And I really do find myself so short in terms of my patience for people that just clearly don't value you or your time or your contribution. So that is something that I've definitely been working on this year. The next one is saying yes when you should have absolutely said no. Definitely found myself in this position a few times, when ultimately you end up letting someone down more by originally saying yes and then later changing your mind to say no, or saying yes and then feeling some sort of way about it. So I would say examples of this have been spreading myself really thinly for projects that I maybe was less passionate about and that weren't particularly well paid, but committing to them and not wanting to let someone down, so continuing with something. Even things like public speaking. I used to do a lot of public speaking at things like marketing expos and that sort of thing. And I started to realize, again, these companies are making money off their speakers IP, their speakers' expertise, but then they are not paying the speakers. So on a small scale, this doesn't bother me. So for example, going on someone's podcast or maybe coaching for a small mentorship program, absolutely, I completely understand that that would be an unrealistic expectation in a lot of instances to expect someone to pay you for your time. But certainly if delegates are being charged, let's say 3,000 Rand, $300, $200 for people to attend a particular expo, and then the speaker's not being paid, I just feel like that's incredibly poor business practice. I would never ask someone to give of their expertise and opinion and do it for free. And so therefore I would absolutely suggest to you guys and to future me, when unpaid speaking opportunities come up that are on topics maybe I'm not that passionate about, or I don't feel strongly about, but yet someone else is trying to monetize my perceived expertise in that area, to just say no. Just don't say yes. It's so easy. The next one is one of my favorites because you can literally apply it to just about any aspect of your life, and that is the sunk cost fallacy. So if you're not yet familiar, the sunk cost fallacy is effectively that because you've sunk cost, and in this instance that would be anything from effort, time, energy, love, affection, you name it, into something. And that could be career-wise, it could be into a friendship, it could be into a romantic relationship, and you've done this over a period of years, that you should therefore continue because you've already come this far, and therefore you can't change your mind and you don't give yourself the permission or the right to pivot effectively. And pivoting, I've noticed, especially in the business context, is one of the most important skills that you can possess. This is particularly true with internet businesses or any kind of online entrepreneurship where it's pretty important that you respond to the signs that you are being given. So those signs could be things like your YouTube analytics telling you to take a different direction with your channel. It could be things like someone mistreating you or acting in such a way that you don't think your paths still align, let's say. And if you ever have doubts in professional relationships, friendships, or romantic relationships, I think just looking at your facts and sitting with them for a little bit and not discrediting your gut is one of the most powerful things that we can do. And it becomes so much easier as you get older to recognize when someone doesn't value you or wants to change the kind of person that you are. And from a business sense, I've noticed that oftentimes I will try to keep on going with something even when it's not working. Let's say, for example, with topics on my YouTube channel, there'll be something that I wanted to try out. It might fail spectacularly, not perform particularly well. And then I almost discredit the evidence. And I'm like, well, you know, it was one shot, like let me try again. And sometimes it just feels like you're throwing yourself up against a brick wall where the writing's there, you know, like you shouldn't keep on pursuing something. So hopefully you can apply this in more aspects than just one. For me, it's particularly prevalent in the working context where despite something not working once, I'm likely to try it multiple times before accepting that it's not right for me. And I'm hoping that moving into the future, I can be better at recognizing the symptoms of something, the data in something, and accepting that some things are just not meant for you, and that's okay. The fourth mistake that I wanted to talk about is suffering from what's known as the spotlight effect. So the spotlight effect is living your life as though you feel that a spotlight has been trained onto you. So that means effectively placing undue focus on what other people may think or feel about you, when in reality, most people are not even paying attention. It's almost like when you go to the weight section of the gym for the first time and you just feel like everyone is staring at me. Meanwhile, absolutely no one is. And I found myself definitely feeling like this before I started my YouTube channel. I was exceptionally worried about what people would think, that I, you know, felt like I was self-righteous in some way for starting a YouTube channel or feeling like I have any kind of value to offer, which is just patently untrue. No one has ever, in the probably 5 years or so that I've been doing YouTube, said to me like, who do you think you are, or whatever I was worried about at the time. Most people are exceptionally encouraging. And of course there are horrible trolls, both online, people that you don't know, and offline, people that you do know or that claim to know you. Like, there's definitely are some aspects of people who are just going to be critical. And there's that quote that's like, you can be the ripest, juiciest peach, and some people just don't like peaches. It's kind of like one of those. And it really usurps a lot of energy and time worrying about what other people think of you. I have started to let that go in my 30s. I've noticed that's been my biggest shift between my 20s and 30s, is, to be honest, I feel like what other people think of me is not my business. I can just go about my life, try and be a good person, try and add value as much as I can, work hard, you know, do all the good things, and the rest is unfortunately not in my control. So if you are falling victim to the spotlight effect, just remember that probably people are not thinking about you as much as you think that they are, and even if they are, there's not much you can do to control other people's thoughts and feelings. And the fifth piece of advice is that even when it feels like you have absolutely no control over a situation, being the first to remind yourself that actually you do have the power to change it. So I remember in many instances in my career where I felt trapped and I felt like I was in a situation with absolutely no control over it. And I was really lucky in that one of my jobs paid for executive coaching, where a big focus of that executive coaching was around mindset and speaking about just how much power you do actually have in controlling your day, controlling how your day goes, even if it feels, particularly in management, I know that this can often feel this way, in which you kind of go into the office in a great mood, and then, you know, someone will come to you with an issue, the next person will complain to you about someone, a third person will tell you that the building's on fire, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and you kind of get more and more downtrodden throughout your day, and you just feel like everything's happening to me, I'm a victim in this situation. And the reality is that you really aren't. There are so many different tools that you can employ, one of which is journaling, in order to kind of get your emotions in check, understand what are the triggers that are creating that sense of downtroddenness, or what are the things that are making you feel less than your potential. Is it a particular person? Is it maybe your manager that isn't supporting you in a way that you would hope that they would? And then trying to effectively hang up each individual problem that feels like it's in a washing machine on a laundry line. So that analogy really helped me, because it's very difficult to address a problem where it's just a whole bunch of different emotions that circle around you, to the point that you can't even articulate exactly what it is that's upset you. As soon as you do something like journaling or speaking to a life coach, as I was doing, you can literally hang up each individual item on that coat hanger or on that laundry line. You can look at them and be like, okay, those are the key 3 things that are bothering me. But oftentimes you'll find that there's actually a golden thread that runs through them. So seemingly uncorrelated things might in the end have a consolidated theme. And if you can address either 1 or 2 of those issues, or the golden thread that runs between them, you actually have so much more control over your day-to-day existence than what you actually perceived to. So I think just remembering that you always have control, remembering that you can always resign from a job that doesn't treat you in the way that you should be treated. You can always walk away from a business partnership that isn't serving you, from a romantic partnership that isn't serving you, and the power almost always sits with you. So I hope that that can be a good encouragement and a good reminder. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you did get this far, please comment with the butterfly emoji down below so that I know who my true fans are. I cannot wait to hit the 6,000 subscriber mark, so thank you guys so much, and especially for the grace as I recover from my operation. I can't wait to see you in the next video so we can keep on doing a little better. I can help you out.